Come in. It's much warmer inside. Oh, I'm glad you can make it. The trek here sure ain't easy. Now, you may not know who I am, but trust me, I know who you are. You can call me a storyteller. It'll be simpler that way. Now, why have you come here? Well, a story, I assume. But which one? That one? Really? Are you sure? You know, I've got plenty others, like, this one here. It's an epic tale of a Goliath who grabbed the dragon mid-flight by his neck, slammed him into a cobblestone tower. No? Well, how about the story of a young drow girl who split a two-headed giant clean in half, starting from his genitals? Well, that one's a classic. Well, not that one either, eh? Well, I also have stories of a realm of existence far beyond our comprehension. A land with weapons harvested from the lightning of the sky, and energies found only in the deepest of space. A land where men who are half autonomous traverse the galaxies in airships of metal, fighting against some sort of doomed future. After all that, you seriously want this story? Fine. So be it. This here's the story of a band of fools. 5 fated adventurers who found themselves to be dignified by some, yet criticized by others. Well, how'd they get here, you might ask? Well, let's start with their ever so unhumble beginnings. Book 1, The Fated 5. Our heroes' story begins on a ship heading into the port city-state known as the Great King's Wharf. As our heroes come to learn, however, there's nothing great about this poverty-stricken city. A king whose self-indulgent and unjust ways know no bounds. He rules this sad excuse of a kingdom. Br'aad, our happy-go-lucky, dim-witted half-elf with the power of the arcane that's endowed by a pact with some otherworldly being, is aboard this here ship.
Nice forearms and nicer staff. What's your name?
Did you walk up and say that to me?
Yes, my name is Br'aad. I'm going to the Great King's Wharf to look for Sildin, my brother. We grew up together.
Is he just like you?
He is, no, God, no.
That's good to hear.
Thank goodness.
There he meets up with Taxi. A real bundle of nerves, that one is. A tabaxi with a keen knowledge of nature, who's honed his body and mind with reclusive training. Well, he's here looking for his lost girl. And then there's Velrissa, a young tiefling of purple hue, who holds a connection to the spirit world.
Oh, nice
Right.
to meet you. The name's
Vel?
Velrissa. Yes. You can call me
My
Vel.
name's Saxy, put her there!
She's a kind one, and she helps pass unfortunate souls into the afterlife. These 3 disembark to find Br'aad's brother, Sildin, a sly and smooth-talking half-elf with a criminal history that seems to follow him wherever he goes.
Br'aad, is
I
that
look
you?
around.
Oh, Sildin.
They also meet Sildin's newfound friend, Hilltree.
Fuck.
A sickly, yet lovable goblin he saved from a horde of ravenous rats. During their venture through the wharf, they come across an ill-tempered dwarf who decides to aid in their tasks.
Listen, you big man.
Hey, you're that guy from the tavern, aren't you?
Hey, what is your name?
I go by Mountain.
It's nice to meet you.
Wish I could
No,
say the
it's-
same.
Well, they later find Taxi's lost love, Oriana, mortally wounded and left for dead.
As you get closer, you do recognize it as Oriana. There is a large wound directly below the rib cage where this large gash has happened, and she's kind of clutching onto it and trying to stop the bleeding. She seems very faint. Her eyes are sort of slowly just twitching.
And well, that's when he showed up.
After a few seconds, kind of just looking across, everybody frozen like statues and time itself seeming to completely stop, you hear a small ding. And as you turn around, you just see, Obnox Shy standing there holding a cup of tea, stirring it with a small spoon.
Well, he goes by Obnox Shy, a man that can control time as if it was plaything. And he's got Br'aad in the palm of his hand.
If you can beat me in the game, I'll tell you who did this and where to find them.
That's okay.
If I win the game, you could take the goblin down to the dock, use him as fishing bait. Doesn't that sound fun?
After that, Silnan takes him back to where he's been lying low, an old abandoned factory not far down the road from the docks. It's a good place for Oriana to rest up while the fools try to devise a plan.
I guess I can show
Alright,
you.
is your humble abode safe?
I mean, I'd say so, besides all the rats.
If I'm being totally honest,
We're also on the
scale of
second floor.
1 to 10, I'd give it like a 3.
Before long, they're interrupted by Silnan's downstairs neighbor. The ramblings of a madman come from the depths of the factory. They meet the Rat King.
What the fuck was that awful?
Taxi the tabaxi. Put it there. Don't put it there.
Probably don't
My name's
touch him.
Taxi.
Come closer.
Well, how close are we talking?
Closer.
A scrawny old man with a call to rats that do his bidding. And he shows Taxi a vision of terror.
And the next thing you know, you're running across the floor of an alleyway. You stop, and you see in the distance, you see a tall man dressed in this long trench coat and a small hat atop the head, kind of hiding the features. But you see the hands, the blue gills that stretch across the fingers, clutching this small barber's flip knife as he's repeatedly stabbing into the chest of a tiefling.
Hey!
Your eyes roll back, and you're back in the room with the Rat King. His hand jolts away from you. He goes, Lupin!
A foreboding sight indeed. Oriana awakens afterwards and tells them of a fellow named Olgot, a drizzled, dark-skinned dwarf that could help them find what they're looking for. And when I say drizzled, I mean quite literally.
You guys can't really see well from the backside of it, but you start to see sort of black hair actually start growing out of his back and shoulders and start taking over the size of his body. He just looks towards the sailors, and his voice, altered slightly, almost sounds very guttural, sort of like there's this very weird mucus now lining around the sides of his throat. He just speaks, his voice booms, echoes across the alley.
I'm back now or become my next meal.
Without any clear answers, the fools decide to investigate the sewer. There's bound to be some answers lurking below for them. The Rat King gives them a gift to help guide them in the form of a very short-lived friend.
We need to name this rat. I say we name him Brat.
That fucker.
Oh wait, you don't actually want to name him? Are you serious?
Nope.
I know, we gotta commit, dude.
His name is Tibsy.
I like pigs.
Tipsy it is.
I like Tibsy.
At this point, the rat doesn't, it just stands in place and doesn't follow in.
Oh.
I kneel down and I'm looking at the rat.
It looks back up at you, and the eyes slowly fade from yellow back to its normal pupils. And you
Well,
once
what
again
the
hear,
fuck?
once again hear the distant laugh in the background. The rat just falls over dead.
Oh. Oof.
Tipsy!
No.
He fucking killed him!
After the unfortunate passing of such an innocent soul, our heroes traverse the underground and come face to face with the terror of the wharf himself, Lupin, the Collector, the Barber. He goes by many names, none of them too friendly.
What are you doing here?
Listen, Barber. I wrote this song for you. You're quite the buzz, and you make the cut. Let's get a haircut for 2. I saw your death under the sea. So I hate to burst your bubble, but maybe we could be friends. Friends.
He turns around and he throws the dagger into your chest.
Luckily, Hilltree saved their skins.
Velrissa, you notice, of course, first, the large tumor-like appendage on the top of his head begins to glow a very light green.
What the fuck?
He reaches out one of his small hands towards Taxon. He goes, "Come here."
I'm coming!
As you run towards the party, as you make it through the 4-way, a large wall of stone erupts in between you and the creature, stopping him in his tracks, blocking the entire hallway.
Time to run. Run.
Oh my god, run!
Hilltree, wait.
Towards the shiny.
Where's the shiny?
They still had one more snag in the way. A snag in the shape of a crystal. This is where the fools met Ungaro.
Many years ago, our race was cursed. They took our leader, our master, his organs and powers were given to different families of different sub-races. We have to find them all to bring him back.
And also, where they met, the end of the world.
I'm gonna touch it.
Shit, alright.
You're gonna, who's touching it?
I am Sylvan.
As you touch it, your hand goes cold.
Oh, shit.
Your vision around you, as you sort of start to enter this induced panic from not being able to let go of the crystal, you feel a purple mist start to roll in. It starts to collide with your actual vision and block.
Yeah, we might
yourself
need to
from
just
seeing
cut off.
anything
Alright,
else.
I got
You
an
start to
18.
feel dizzy, a
I
little
got an
faint.
18. We're cutting it off.
We're cutting it off.
At this point, you start to hear footfall behind you.
Ooh.
As you turn,
the door.
entering the room,
Gem, I look
entering the room is the barber, twirling the knife in his fingertips.
You know why they call it mahogany? Cause I'm Ghani, boys.
Alright,
See ya.
toodaloo lads, I'm through the door now.
And they hightailed it out of there with the help of old God, who used himself as a distraction to aid their escape. They thought he didn't have a hope in hell of surviving. Luckily, they were wrong. And upon returning, Sylvan got an intriguing gift from the Rat King. You could turn into a rat now.
Oh my god.
No! Do I see this?
Might come in handy at some point, if a date goes poorly. Sylvan also introduced his new friends to one of his old ones, a fellow by the name of Jaqua, a rich noble from a faraway land who might be able to assist them. The fools were short on gold, shorter than Mountain even.
His name is Jaqua.
Don't say it like it's a bird.
So, I'm looking for one of two people. Either a blue orc with tattoos on his face and kind of looks culty, or a man named Brendan.
Sonan, my boy, you know, as well as I do, you don't seek out Brendan. That's not a smart idea. Unless you want to wake up with your head on a platter.
Never been too smart.
Well, if you look around, nobody here really is. You and your friends there, you come back to my place and we'll discuss this in a more private setting.
Yikes.
Yikes, let's do it. I mean, yeah, that works for me. Let's go.
Alright, my
Let's see any
place.
issues with this.
Fucking hell, okay.
You still remember the route to my location, correct?
Kind of like think for a bit. Yeah. I think.
It's good enough for me. See you there at nightfall.
Things were on the up and up. Finally some good news. Or so they thought. When they got back home to that forgotten factory, it felt like everything went right back down to rock bottom.
As you peek around, you see the body of the Rat King laying there lifeless, and there are a few rats currently gnawing at his neck, his eyes, and his chest, trying to ripping off pieces of skin.
Jesus.
Nope.
I didn't sign up for this. Okay. Ugh.
You begin to hear scuttering coming through different holes around the first level.
Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck this. And I'm just,
I would like to.
let's get out.
I'm getting out of here.
Let's get out. I'm leaving.
As you
Then I
guys are
turn
booking
around.
it, you look back and you just see swarms of rats, all of them with purple eyes, start hoarding themselves out of the corners and following behind.
Can I try talking to them in Abyssal?
Oh, that might work.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna pee.
However, someone started taking interest in our fools. And it seems they know a lot about pulling strings.
And I throw ball bearings all around the floor.
Can I just like run towards where he was pointing?
Sure. Make a dexterity saving throw.
The ball bearings.
You approach the table, moving over and peeking over to see the remnants. You see a single severed arm with a note attached to it
What?
that says, "If you ever want to see your brother again, you will come meet me in Brendan tonight. You know where to go, Br'aad."
Silnan and Mountain both got themselves kidnapped by Brendan and in need of a hand. Or in Silnan's case, maybe just a pinky.
I don't understand what problem we've caused you here.
Other than the fact you've been looking for my men, you've been killing my men. You took items from them, basically interrogated them.
Trust me, if I was going
pushing.
after and killing your men, you would know about it.
Oh, I already do. The two found dead in the back alley. Now you both have taken from me. You've hurt my reputation, and you've tried to make me a laughingstock. So now, naturally, he moves over to you, Stonen, and he holds a dagger in his hand. They say an eye for an eye, but your eyes aren't very pretty. And then he
Wait.
slams it down and cuts your left pinky off.
And the fools have been reunited once more. Olgot gives them some insight on that Brendan character. He's Br'aad and Silnan's father, who went missing after their mother's death. And even though Silnan lost his pinky, it's starting to grow back now. That boy never was the same after he touched that gem. Our heroes found themselves making a deal with the king, knowing damn well he hates Brendan as much as they do. Against their better judgment, they sign a contract, putting him under the service of King Rigmond, the gluttonous, pampered prick himself. After that, they go searching for a fellow with a cloak of invisibility. They needed to fetch it, and it ended up with Silnan losing all control and deciding that Kenku was on the menu.
I lock eyes like with exactly where he is, and I fucking run for it. I'm going for him.
What are you doing? You're not an animal.
I found the Kenku. Obviously, I mean.
I don't even eat people.
He says, spitting out chunks of blood. What the fuck?
That boy really wasn't the same after he touched that gem. The fools at least managed to gather some more information about this Ungaro character, amidst all the chaos.
It is said that Ungaro not only has very necromantic abilities, but he seems to have a very hungry, tyrannical sort of power trip going on with him. He really just wants to take control of everything because all he's ever had is the very bottom of the ocean, and he wants to rise above that.
With time to recoup and vengeful hearts, they decided it was about time they gave Jaqua what he had coming.
We know how Jaqua is. The king does not. Persuade him, tell him. If we get evidence on Jaqua, we can get him arrested.
Taxi went ahead, disguised himself as a common spider, and do some reconnaissance. The Tabaxi, however, forgot the extent of his magical abilities.
Okay, break. Team, we know what we're doing.
No.
Go. Team, go.
We're gonna say about an hour passes, and the spider turns back into Taxi and plummets off the side of the castle.
You're a virgin, aren't you, Br'aad? D20 minus
what is
2.
virgin?
I'd like to say that it's a.
Your virgin modifier being broad, that's a solid -8.
All right, -8. What do I? What's the DC? What's the DC for my virgin check?
16.
Okay,
That's my guess.
It's impossible.
that's a 19.
All right, nice.
No, I fuck everything.
Nice. I high five, Br'aad.
At
No,
this
he
point,
didn't,
at
and
this
he never
point,
will.
at this point, you guys see Jaquan actually exiting the castle.
Oh shit.
It's go time, boys. Okay, let's say like the fog darkens,
Okay, yeah,
and out
I will allow
of
that.
it steps Shadow Br'aad, doing some sort of weird fucking low to the ground, swinging back and forth, arms up in the air wildly. He comes into view, his eyes glaring red. My name is Br'aad. He steps back into the shadows. Jaquan goes, where the fuck did he go? He's behind him. This is my dance. Jaquan whips around. He's nowhere to be seen. He hears off to the right. Don't move. Jaquan looks. He looks back. Br'aad's right next to him. Hand on his waist. Or I'll pull down your fucking pants.
After beating Jaquan, they decided it's in their best interest to kidnap him and beat some information out of him. This didn't go over too well with King Rigmond. After their ruse was discovered, Vel and the boys had to try their hands in a court case.
Objection! I don't know how it's relevant, but I have this paper.
Alright, I cast Zone of Truth right in the center of everyone.
Jaquan immediately stepped out of the zone.
I have to know. I have to say the truth. This ring is given by Brendan to people who he trusts. This ring is the proof in the paper.
Taxi gasps.
Holy shit.
He seems a little bit more nervous than I usually am.
These men kidnapped me. From my own home. They came
You kidnapped
to me.
us first.
If you have nothing to hide, Jaquan, then get in the zone. Honor.
Well, my fair king, I'm afraid I'm under the effects of this here zone of truth, and I can't speak a word of a lie. In fact, you're looking rather chubby today. No! You go!
I'm holding on to this ring. Jaquan, as of now, you are being detained by the royal guard. As for the rest of you as well, you are under watch. You are not to leave the castle grounds without permission. Until we get this settled, you are under watch.
Woo! Hey, I mean, better than being in jail.
As of now, you are dismissed.
When will I be getting my dog?
Dismissed!
They were still put in custody.
Sometimes what helps me in a situation like this, right? Is just to start singing something, man. Yeah,
no goblin songs.
What's some goblin songs? I'll back you up.
Oh God.
Okay, let's stop.
Yeah, it was beautiful, goblin. Now here, I brought you guys a present. He pulls a scorpion out of his pocket.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
And he throws it in the cell.
I step on it. I try to step on it.
No!
Basically, you just stomp the scorpion, and the taxi just poofs where the scorpion was.
Oh shit!
Hey, taxi.
Yeah, sure, man. I'm back in the fucking cell with you guys now.
Oh, shit. Hey, taxi. Welcome to the party.
Taxi.
I'm gonna tackle Br'aad!
And forced to remain in the castle walls until further notice, the fools had to devise a plan. Their plan came in the form of Dominion, a devoted paladin who served the castle. And they convinced him to guide them around the city, where they came face to face with yet another foe. Some malicious being serving some force by the name of Orcus.
You see this very, very slim, very sickly-looking figure hunched over with a crooked back. The skin itself is black with lots of wrinkles. The wrists themselves smaller than the rest of the arm, and the hand absolutely oblong and large. The face itself is just one large gaping mouth. Just as you look inside of it, you can just see darkness. It has two smaller eye slits to the above it. It looks up at you, it goes,
Orcus. Arrakis will have revenge on Nungaro.
And then it falls. As Dominion looks at the creature and looks at the rest of you, he goes, "For now, you all can take leave. You are to meet me in an hour's time back at the front of the castle. Do you hear me?"
Br'aad and Silnan use this time to head down to the pit, a common gathering area for the criminal minds of the Wharf. Here they run into a blue orc character they've heard rumors about, a kind of executioner that serves under Brendan. And rumor has it, no one's gone toe-to-toe with him and lived to tell the tale. Br'aad, with the intellect he has, decides the best course of action is to disguise himself as the currently imprisoned Jaquar. Let's just say, it don't end too well.
As you guys move into the main entrance and you kind of peek in, looking around, you don't see Ugarth, but you do see the blue orc in the very opposite side of the side, talking to some people.
Okay, I disguise self into Jaquar.
Godspeed, Br'aad.
Cornelius.
Jaquar. Oh,
That is
What are
me.
what are you doing here? I'm sure Brendan would like to see you. Do you want to come with really quick? You've been away for some time. I mean, he probably would like to see what happened and if plans are still according to what he'd like.
Of course, and they always are. I will tag along, yes.
You move the rest of the way, and you eventually come to a dead end. Just the actual path stops at a flat brick wall. He turns to you and he goes, "All right, Jaquar," and he puts his hand on the wall and goes, "Go ahead."
Yes. I will go on ahead. And I also touch the wall.
The wall is not magical in the slightest, and as you approach it, the orc moves behind you and stands in your way of exiting the dead end, and he brandishes his blade.
At this point, Silnan is going to fucking pull out an arrow and shoot him instantly. Just instant reaction time.
Where am I?
That man's still behind us.
Alright, so Br'aad, what do? You have your turn. You're currently being cradled in Silnan's arm, and with his scimitar, as he comes around the corner, still on fire, he goes,
Can't escape me.
It's relentless.
and the scimitar comes swinging around the corner with him. 11 points of slashing and 8 points of necrotic.
Yeah, that kills me. Yeah, I'm down.
So he's just going to smack you on the ground and make you fail 2 saves. As he slashes you down, he stabs it into your body. He leaves a scimitar in your body and he turns towards Br'aad running down the corridor, and you hear his voice echo out.
There's no running, child.
Who the fuck said anything about running? Boys, that is a natural 20.
They were able to best this blue orc, but at a great cost. As Silnan lay there, the life leaving his eyes, he was offered another chance by that dark presence from the crystal. Make your choice. Make your choice. Make your choice now.
I think I'd rather die than work with you.
That's your choice. And the wrong one that you've made. Goodbye, dog. May you be forgotten, just like your mother. I'm sorry, lad, but he's gone.
What do you mean? He's right here.
No, he's gone. There's no life. This is a corpse now. There's nothing I can do. I'm sorry. I'm not magic.
Well, I am. Medicine check.
Roll a d20 and add your medicine modifier.
Don't do this.
2 minus 3 negative 1.
No.
You have no way.
Yeah, Taxi didn't handle the trauma too well. The poor lad snapped.
Everybody clear out. Last chance. Leave.
One of them kind of, from as he's very far away, just leans against one of the stalls and crosses his arms and continues to look at Silnan.
I will clap my hands in their direction and cast Thunderwave.
So, as you push this Thunderwave out in front of you, the one that saves, he races, his arms crossed in front of him, and he stands his ground. The other two, as it hits them, they fly 10 feet. One of them lands into one of the stalls, and one of the actual gardening tools that are being sold by it impales into his gut. The stall itself breaks from the force of the wind as well. Objects go flying everywhere. Second guy, 10 feet back, and he slams hard into a passing wagon. And he first hits onto his knees, and then falls onto his face, lying motionless as well. They are both dead.
Taxi headed to the docks. He didn't know where he should go.
Would it take gold to get a ride?
A ride? Where are you trying to go?
I don't know.
Something I learned in my early days. Unless you're in combat, don't take initial thoughts. Right now the feelings you have may fade, and when you're on this ship weeks later still at sea, you're probably going to regret it.
He reaches into himself and asks for an answer. And he gets a reply back from the goddess Nula, who Taxi praises.
You seem in trouble, Taxi.
Nula?
Aye.
I'm still the same when you met me.
The monkey at this point swings over and onto the same branch as you are, and one of the palms comes over onto your shoulder. That you are the same. The same strong warrior I met in those woods.
Why do I keep feeling like I'm still taking more life than I give?
You have struggles, but they're all in your mind.
What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to fight. You are destined to save this world. That is what I believe, and that is what I know.
And while his companions were mourning his death, Silnan found himself waking up to a different world.
So
Yes.
your eyes open.
Nani?
You feel very warm. As you look around, you're lying on your back. As you sit up and you look around, you're in some sort of forest. It's beautiful here. The sun's shining, the entire aura, your vision feels yellow. You feel the warmth of the sun. You see a single bench sitting there facing towards you. And on the bench you see Catherine. And you sit down on the bench next to Catherine. Her voice speaks out. I haven't seen you in quite some time, Silnan. Your friends still need you. Your brother still loves you. It's not your time.
What am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm dead, right?
Death is not permanent. Those cultists, they know how to bring back the dead.
After some small talk with the gods, our heroes meet up once more, only to be hindered by Dominion, and he ain't all too happy with the slaughter in the streets. Taxi takes the fall, and the cat gets put in shackles.
Yeah.
As you guys come out of the alleyway into the market street and you peek that direction, you see the crowds immediately dispersing as several heavily plated armored guards are stepping down the way, led by Dominion. His sword held up into the air, blade first. There's actually lightning arcing off the sides of the blade. He slams it down once more into the ground and looks around and goes, Can anybody tell me, where's the fucking cat?
Taxi's gonna step out and Dominion and put his hands up and get on the ground.
That's the one I've been looking for.
Please. Whatever you do to me, let them go.
Men, arrest the cat.
The fools had to find a way to get their friend out of the dungeon. They needed help once again. Lucky for them, Hilltree has a brother who's known for dirty deeds. It only costs you a little gold is all.
A very angered, disgruntled voice comes from inside. It's something you just woke him up.
Eh? Who's there?
We need you, brother.
What kind of numbers are we looking at? How much is sufficient?
50 gold.
50 gold.
50, and does that have to be up front? 10 gold.
What do you think I am, Hilltree?
Hey. Meanwhile, Taxi was making a new friend down in the cells. He learns that even backstabbers have their reasons.
As the gate slams shut and you look forward, You see sitting in the cell right across from you, Jaquaa. Fancy meeting you here. Have you finally learned the error of your ways? Have you learned the evilness behind that king? He's brought in nothing but darkness wherever his fat feet land.
You could have chosen to be kind to us.
Why would I do that?
The problem, maybe you wouldn't have ended up here.
Why would I work for the man who killed my father? You think I wouldn't want to drive a dagger into the back of anyone who takes his word as law? After what he did?
Now, Silnan's death wouldn't go unpunished. You'd be more than a fool to think that. His old partner in crime, Ugarth, came around to make sure of that. A half-orc sailor who's turned to a life of crime. His skill in martial arts proved itself useful down in the pit.
And then the wench says to me, oh, can I help you?
Well, I want to hear, what did she say?
They call me Ugarth.
Mountain. Silnan died.
What?
Silnan?
Yes.
Someone's dead.
And that's
who
why
killed?
we're here.
Who killed Silnan?
Blue Orc? He
Sock.
gets really angry.
Sock, that bastard. I have a plan. We get fucking revenge.
And with the help of one of Br'aad's, personalities, they got to work on jailbreaking.
State your business.
Good evening, I'm just turning in for the night.
That boy's got serious issues.
Alright, I try and get both of the guards' attention.
The guards both stop and they both heel turn to face towards you, and then they click the spirit and they go, there's not supposed to be any watch rotations at this time.
Alright, well, you know what I'm saying? Yeehaw! And then I cast Charm Person. Thanks. Hey, have a good night, fellers. Taxi, I'm here to. Oh shit, sorry. Taxi, I'm here to bust you out.
I run up to the bars and grab them. Br'aad. I'll put my hand on Br'aad's shoulder and
Bring her in.
pull him in for a hug.
You head up the stairs. As you do, sitting, you see the two guards that were down there, both of them with a tankard in hand, currently being scolded by an upper guard, you see, with much more regal-looking armor.
Yeah, that's right. What seems to be the problem over here?
The problem is that two of my men stepped off their duty to have a drink, and they're saying it's because a new guy told them to. What's your name?
Yeehaw.
Oh my! Oh! You! Fuck!
Alright, Private Haw. You'll be cleaning the shit stuff by tomorrow morning.
The fools couldn't stick around in the wharf for too long. They were wanted. And at this point, it was looking more dead than alive. Before they get on the run, however, Velrissa found a lost soul. A young boy, scared and confused. Damn shame, really. Thankfully, Velrissa had the guidance the poor lad needed.
When you were in that forest, at some point, whatever you did, you died.
No. Buddy. We were just playing. What do I do? How do I come back?
There is no coming back.
That's not fair.
Can I, like, reach my hand out and put it on his shoulder?
After that, it was time to get a move on. Silnan wasn't gonna save himself. Our heroes prepare for a long road ahead, and
I'll also hold out my hand and cast Great Grapes.
That's not the name of the spell!
things weren't so peachy, or I guess grapey, for Silnan. He and Catherine were trying to find answers deep inside his memories.
Alright, close your eyes.
Slim closes his eyes and takes a deep breath in.
Almost like a VCR tape, just fast forwarding. You just move through these different scenes one by one. Now, you stop at one moment.
I saw your soul. Br'aad!
Well,
Why would you do that?
I just feel like I could never help, and maybe I was just slowing you down, and so I thought maybe
Maybe you should act on your own? Why didn't you talk to me?
I didn't think you'd understand. I mean, it doesn't seem like you understand now.
I don't understand. Why
you
would
know
you?
what it's like? I don't just want to be a fucking pixie, Silnan.
The fools weren't doing too great on their venture either. They already found themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. And by a rock, I mean a man made out of rock.
Excuse me, gatekeeper. Oh no.
Oh, hello there!
Hello. We come to this.
At this point, you guys are getting a bit of a closer look at him. He's actually a half-elf.
Like me. Sir, what is your name, gatekeeper?
Landa. You can call me Landa. Remember that.
So that's 15 damage.
15 damage. Okay, you actually take your pike and you drive it directly into his gut. At this point, you begin to hear stomping coming from far away. And as you turn to look from the way you just walked upwards, Lander comes up, riding on top of a large stone elemental.
Well, it appears you've caused quite a bit of trouble there, now haven't you?
I guess you could say that.
You see, I don't really like that.
Elemental grabs you with its powerful fist and lifts you up to Lander's height, squeezing very hard.
Alright, now, get out of my city.
Br'aad didn't help the situation either.
Hang on, guys. I got this. It's all a miscommunication. Just 1 sec. And I cast sending. Directed towards King Rigmond. Hello, this is Br'aad. It went straight to voicemail, so I don't know what's up. I hear lots of people are dying, but we're not even in the wharf. You dip.
Oh, God.
We're in the tunnels going away from it. Gotcha. We pranked you good. Nice try, sucker.
Br'aad, stop.
Br'aad.
Stop.
Wait, is this something he's saying out
Br'aad,
loud?
stop. Yes, he has to say it out loud.
Sent.
Br'aad!
Many lives have been lost, but one of them returned. An old rodent friend paid our druid a little visit.
All of a sudden, you begin to hear the sounds of scurrying coming from a nearby smaller piping, coming off of the side end of the tunnel.
As they're running past, can I cast Speak with Animals and ask what's going on?
Yeah, so you go ahead and you cast Speak with Animals as they're running away from you.
What the fuck's going on?
Alright, so you cast Speak with Animals on one of the nearby rats. And as you do, it does stop and turns to look at the party, ignoring the rest of the horde. And as it looks at you, its eyes turn yellow. And you
Wait
hear
a
a
minute.
very familiar voice say,
Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Oh my god!
Damn it! No way.
and after it says this, the rat just immediately runs off.
Taxi just gets chills. Wait! No, come back!
Spirits were starting to be lifted. The fools were at least out of the wharf. Or at least, so they thought.
Velrissa, you actually are the first to awaken. You look around groggily, and you come to an immediate step back. As you look around, you realize that your surroundings, you and the parties, are no longer what they were before. You are not in the same dirt tunnel.
Everyone's still there, right?
Everyone's still there in
asleep.
their bedrolls, yes, asleep. But you're very groggy. You kind of rub your eyes to get a better idea of what's going on. And as you look around, the area is extremely familiar. The rusted metal walls, a very nearby broken window. As you look around, you're in the abandoned factory in the wharf.
Stop.
As the tidal waves finish landing and the water is still rising, you begin to see something emerge from the water. The large, black, wrinkled head emerges. As it comes out, the water rises with it, splashing down once more. Anybody still nearby the docks are immediately just flooded over and lost to the sea. As the figure emerges, slowly, it stands somewhere around 50 feet over the city. This large, gargantuan being, you see the large shell that blocks out what little sun you could see through the clouds and just erupts this darkness across the entire wharf. The eyes glowing purple with these yellow iris.
How long I've waited.
And you awaken with a fright. Down in the dirt tunnels, in a cold sweat.
It was all
As you look around,
of
the rest
shit.
of the party is still asleep.
fucking dick.
Oh.
You dick.
Looks like spirits ain't the only thing haunting our tiefling. It looks like her dreams don't take too kindly to her either. After some days of traveling, our heroes needed a place to rest their heads for a while and kick back and relax. And that they did, in a little town called Laurenburg. They rest the night away, but their time off is swiftly interrupted by some of the guards from the wharf. Seems like they're hot on their trail. The fools waste no time and flee, heading underground and towards their destination. But one thing just leads to another, and Hilltree is next on the bad luck list.
You see the shape of almost like a tentacle-like mass erupt from the water, and it comes over and it grabs a hold of Hilltree by the leg and whips him up off the walkway.
Hilltree!
What the No! Can I see what just did that?
The fog's too dense at this point. You can only see a few feet in front of your face. You can just make out the shapes as it grabs Hilltree and pulls him into the fog, and you lose vision.
I can't.
You begin running forward, Br'aad, and as you do, for a second, you feel a sharpness in the back of your head. Not like something strikes you, but you feel like your ears beginning to ring, and you just feel like a sharp pain hit the back of your brain as you sort of hunch over for a second. And then you hear a voice into your mind. It's that of Abnakshai. Be wary, lad. One of my kind walks among you.
You mean like a dick?
What?
An ancient evil lurks among you.
Well, that's great. You think you can take care of him?
And the platform beneath you seems to break, cracking, almost like an earthquake just happens directly below your feet, and it breaks open, and you fall into the water below.
Thank you. That's exactly what I asked for.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
Br'aad, as you hit the water, immediately your eyes open, and you can still feel the water around you, but it's clear. The stakes are simple, and then a chessboard falls onto the table. Chess pieces land across it, but the pieces resemble people you recognize, with the knight being Taxi.
Oh my god.
The towers are mountain. The queen's Velrissa.
Nice.
Epic.
And the king is Sonin.
Are there any special rules to chess? So say you take one of my mountains here. That doesn't do anything bad to real mountain, does it?
Why not risk it and find out?
Oh, God.
He leans forward in his chair a little bit.
brutal.
His eyes look a little menacing as he gives you a smirk.
Yeah, why would I do that?
If you win this game, we can save your friend there. I can help you a little bit. Maybe, we can... And he leans forward, and he taps into the thin air in front of him, but you feel the fingers hit you on the center of your forehead.
Uh-huh.
We can unlock some of your true potential still trapped in there.
Just when you thought that Br'aad boy couldn't get any stranger, he does.
Little did you know I've played quite a lot of chess, and I point to the fucking tower, the king.
Awaken, my son. Feel the power that flows within you. And your eyes they just shoot open, and you're standing back in the same spot.
Listen, he looked more insane than normal. Oh, jeez.
He always looks
Rifle,
insane.
shut the fuck up!
Hey, fuck you.
I'm underwater, but I'm still laughing.
I don't like this room anymore.
And you hear a very dull voice start to grumble up towards you. And you understand it. It speaks to you in Abyssal.
You know not what power you deal with.
Suck up my dick. And then I have Hilltree in one arm, and I just swim back up towards the surface. Can I leap out of the water like a dolphin and just land on the platform?
Sure.
I do that.
Help comes in the form of a flump. It's a friendly little creature that helps guide our fools in the right direction.
Name it
In
Gary.
the air, below it.
All right, its name is now Gary.
For whatever reason, this seems to be in its best interest. They found something strange down here. It's a whole city, with common folk in it. Or at least they look common.
The clothes look dated. The people all seem young, though. And they're moving up and down the streets. Some of them carrying baked goods. Some of them carrying carts. They seem to be going about daily business. All right, so you move over to the cart and you try to get up onto it and you like steer the horse over to them. As you step forward and you begin to climb up to the actual steer, you hear a man go, excuse me. And you look over and it's a guy walking out of the general store holding a bag in his hand, sort of like just like a paper bag.
Oh, hello there.
Yes, hello. What are you doing with my cart?
This is... What do you mean? I just parked this here a second ago.
Oh, someone already stole my car. Did you see it, possibly?
Yeah, actually, I think I saw a cart that looked remarkably like mine. This one right here, heading up the road that way. I'm sorry, I would have stopped him if I knew.
Oh, that's quite a problem. I need that car for tomorrow. I gotta go into town.
And he kind of looks down that way and starts like hurriedly walking down the street in that direction. And he walks off into the distance and sort of just disappears. He curves around the side of the road and is no longer in sight. As you fully seat yourself onto the steer, you grab the reins and get ready. You hear a voice call out to you once more from your side. You hear, excuse me.
What?
As you look over, you see the same man walking out of the store holding the same bag in his hand, looking at you in the same peculiar expression.
Actually, this is my cart. Roll deception.
His eyes sort of, actually this time, they widen in almost like disbelief as he looks at you and he goes,
I will have no such tomfoolery, sir.
As he says that, his eyes, the pupils actually sort of slit vertically, almost like a reptile's. And all the lights nearby go out. There's a large set of steps leading up to the cathedral.
This cathedral wasn't like any other, mainly because it was full of ghosts. This looks like a job for our local devil girl.
All of you out there in this cathedral, you are all lost souls, and there's a life after death that's calling all of you, and it's a great place to be. It's better than aimlessly wandering here, lost and confused.
They all seem to stand up. They give like a small bow, almost like they're like accepting what you said, and they form a single line down the center of the hallway and begin marching over towards the front door, which is still shut, but their bodies seem to just phase through it as they exit the cathedral.
Br'aad!
Silnan's here? Or maybe his soul is. Well, either way, Vel and the boys got to move on, but looks like they were too late. That blue orc was already back in business, and they just stumbled upon his welcome home party.
There are a lot of humanoid figures down here. As your eyes pander around and look across the people, the first thing you notice is on the very top of the platform, there is the blue orc. He is alive. He is moving. The entirety of the crowd turns around to look over. The large fish creature on the top, looking over towards you, sprinting over, his hand raises up and you see this archaic energy start to spiral up his forearm. And he fires an Eldritch Blast, 2 beams, towards Ugarth and then towards you, Br'aad. And after this, it will start initiative.
Ugarth rushes in first, going straight for that bastard that killed his dear friend. Clashing of blades and fists are heard throughout the cavern. Someone takes notice of all the ruckus.
You hear Amlakshai's voice back in the back of your mind once more as you're running forward. He says, "Do you remember how I said there was one of my kind around here?"
Yeah, I thought we dealt with him. He's gone, right?
"There's one of yours as well." And then you hear a voice ring out from somewhere above. A very familiar voice. "I really wish I taught my kids how to play nice." You see Brendan walking out of the archway.
Brendan arrives. I don't think he was looking forward to any more father-son reunions. Amidst the chaos, Taxi manages to get Silnan's body to the altar. And by a miracle, Silnan starts to breathe again. The blue orc didn't take too kindly to this touching reunion.
At this point, you hear a voice come into the back of your mind. You hear the sounds of your deity. Her very familiar voice.
You have not much energy left. Use it on your friend.
Yeah, I do exactly what she says and use my action. I don't know. I'll try and put all my fucking magic energy into Silnan. I have no fucking clue what that means.
Okay. You put your hands on Silnan's chest and you just close your eyes and you think of nature. You think of the wild. You think of the circle of life and how you want Silnan to be back in that circle. Your hands begin to glow this effervescent green. As you look down, the table is glowing green as well. You step back hesitantly for a second, and Silnan's body starts to rise. Up next, you look over and you see the blue orc. He sees what's going on. His eyes widen. His attention goes away from Bramble and Ugarth. With swords in hand, he darts over. He runs past you, Taxi. The blue orc runs past you. He jumps up, blades in hand, towards Silnan's body and goes to stab at Silnan's body. He jumps in between your vision of Silnan and you, Taxi. It's a blur of movement, and you just hear the sound of sword puncturing flesh. Silnan, a wave of memories hits you once more after that darkness, that coldness. You were raiding a coastal city from ships. You were heading towards the city when you were attacked by fleets of the Royal Guard. They somehow knew of your plan. You were looking around frantically at the crew, people falling off, abandoning ship, hoping to survive, hoping to live. You look behind you and you see Ugarth. He's trapped under one of the fallen sails.
Help him out. We're getting out of here, buddy.
You struggle to get it up, but you push it up just enough to help Ugarth get his hands onto the floor, and he uses the power of his back to almost do a push-up and pull it enough to wiggle out. The two of you get into one of the dinghies off the side of the ship and start to escape back towards the land in the direction that you think is the way back to the wharf. Ugarth is pretty badly banged up. He seems damaged.
Why'd you save me?
Well, you know, brothers help brothers.
Your eyes open. You blink. Oxygen fills your lungs for the first time in God knows how long. And you look down and realize you're currently being grappled. And as you look up, you see Ugarth covering you with his arms and legs, almost bear hugging you against the ground.
Ugarth? What?
He gets up wearily and he goes,
It's glad to see you back, bud.
And then you look down and you see a scimitar driven through the back of his chest, sticking out of his abdomen. But he looks down at you and he gives you a smirk.
You're safe now. You know your brother was worried.
You see the blue orc behind him move up, and with his other scimitar, goes down for a strike, and it drives through the chest once more. He lets out a final grunt of pain, and he smiles at you. He goes,
Brothers help brothers.
And then he collapses onto the ground.
Mountain makes quick work of the bastard after that.
As you take your trident, you lunge up more closer to the top. You aim higher. The center pike of your trident, the center spire, it goes directly into his throat.
Oh yeah.
Blood coughs out of his mouth. He goes,
Don't worry, I'll be back.
And he falls to his knees and then slowly slides off the spike of the trident and falls backwards into the ground, lying lifeless.
On the other side of the battlefield, Br'aad takes care of all of his pent-up abandonment issues, once and for all.
Like father, like gun.
As you fire, you actually use both your hands. You make this sort of ball of energy in between them, and you pull it apart to create two sort of energy balls in your hands, and you fire Eldritch blasts off of both hands. They both streak up in an arch. Fire into Brendan. A puff of smoke blinds your vision from him and the tentacle. And then you just see his body falling off of the tentacle. He looks up at you, Br'aad, and as you can see, his right leg is actually, it's bending away it shouldn't. You can tell the bone's broken. He's trying to pull himself back up. He looks up at you. His hand grabs a hold of your pant leg. And as you're looking down at him, his eyes, the purple and yellow, slowly fades out of them. He just goes, thank you. Now, run. And he falls to the ground.
It's good to meet you, Dad.
Just when it all seemed over, Ungaro rears his ugly head once more, and he starts flooding the cavern. The fools make a quick getaway, leaving the bodies in the wake. The city above seems to have vanished. All that's left now is to get out of this forsaken place. But as our heroes step into the bright light of the surface once more, they traverse into a whole different world.
Br'aad, you see Opnok Shai standing in front of you on the other side of the walkway. Silnan, you see Catherine. Mountain, you see a male and female dwarf you've never seen before. Velrissa, you see Weejas. And Paxi, you see Nula. All standing
Br'aad,
before
quick
you.
magic shit.
There's a path ahead of you, my child. And oh boy, is it a long and winding one.
I look down. It's not.
He slowly sort of face palms.
With this darkness inside you, you fought and you survived.
Yeah, well, oh, I wouldn't be here without you, you know.
And you won't have to feel alone anymore. I'm here. Your brother's here. And so are your friends. Step forward and be reunited.
You're on the right path.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
Shh. In due time, you'll learn.
Grab our hands. Welcome your new life.
Why should I trust you? I don't even know you.
You're a mighty dwarf. You've done your family proud.
You're a powerful one, aren't you, Velrissa?
I'd like to believe so, yes.
You've taken a step forward, and a mighty one at that. You are my powerful warrior. You fought, and you've won. It's quite impressive, actually.
You think so?
Aye, but just know there are many like you, Tabaxis, cat people, that are looking upon you. You have potential. You're adventurous, you're courageous. You do what others will never do. And not just for yourself, but for others. You could be a future. The future of the Master Cats.
Oh. Well, I mean, why?
Silnan, as you step forward, a mirror appears from the pedestal in front of you, and you see yourself. Your left side is dark, your skin's turned purple, and the veins are bulging out of your skin. Your eyes are a dark jet black, and your mouth is turned to a permanent crooked smile. Out from your back on this side, though, is a large black raven wing, and in your hand is a large purple dagger that's jagged-edged. Your right side, your skin is much more pale, but with sort of like a faint yellowish hue. Your eye glows a very bright white. Your hair is actually silver on this side as well, and it's a bit longer than it is on the left side. A large angel wing erupts from your back on your right side, and in your right hand there is a large sickle, but the blade of it, as it curves around, has these sort of very holy symbols across of it, and it glows a faint white in your hand. And as you let go of the sickle, you see it's attached by a chain to your wrists. A very golden, bright, ethereal see-through chain seems to just emit out of your wrist, almost like it's a part of your body.
I don't know what to do with this, man.
You feel a power course within you, but then it fades away, and you turn back into yourself.
I was just trying to
come to the realization you're not in the wharf anymore, and you don't feel the need to go back. Brendan was dealt with. He's at least gone. Ungaro may still be out there somewhere, but you know that you're in no place of power yet to take him on. However, you look upon yourself, you look around the land of Viecta and see the potential. The beautiful mountain ranges off in the distance in the north. You see the beautiful forests, the hills that move for miles ahead with distant farmlands. Welcome to Viecta. Welcome to the end of Arc 1.
With newfound feelings, newfound friends, and a newfound feeling of purpose, the fools become the fated, and the horizon opens right in front of them. Where do they go from here? Well, I guess they'll just have to roll with it.